Hello there, YouTube. Bruised here, and welcome back to my continued efforts to become a trap in real life. For today, I'm going to be talking about my, what is this? Spectral Throw of Trarthus. Right, I forgot for a second the name of the skill. Anyway, this is my Spectral Throw of Trarthus character that I have put together recently. Normally I would have some recordings on like my other channel or something, but I've just been so tired recently that I didn't even feel like pressing record. So I just have the character itself, and I have this character leveled up to level 91 at Ziri's Boy Toy, as you see here, level 91 Scion that we are playing as for Spectral Throw. The main reason I made this character is literally to kill at Ziri, because I realized that there's a challenge for killing Uber at Ziri, and I didn't have a character that could really do that comfortably, so I was like, I'm gonna make a trap character. And so here we are. I will say, very quick TLDR, if you just want to look at the POB, that will be down in the description as always. And I had something else and I completely spaced it, so we'll just move on. But yeah, the POB will be down in the description if you want to just take a look at that. But the character is moving right along. It's been a lot of fun to just kind of cruise around and chuck some traps out again, and Spectral Throw itself has been surprisingly really good. I knew that Spectral Throw was going to be good. I knew this was going to be a pretty solid character overall, but the smoothness of it, I think, has overall kind of taken me back. So with that, we're just going to run a map. I'm actually going to take out these two guys. Actually, I'll throw them up here just to kind of make things move a little bit quicker. So this is the map we're running, Veritania, and we're going to move on. Let's go. I'll try to move fairly quick through here, and hopefully manage to do that. Yeah, very much so. If you've ever played a trap character, it's just like a trap. It's just like it. Oh hey, speed shrine. That'll help.
Begs to be studied.
All right. Well, this guy's flirting with me as well. Nice. Oh boy. So mana is something that I'm still kind of working on this character. Like, mana does drain pretty quick, but hence I still have an enduring flask there.
Is part of the craft. Nobody walks away.
Hey, yeah, I'll be right back. You guys are. But yeah, as you can see, mana drains really quick, especially with the speed shrine. Mana's gonna drain omega fast. Also, this is one of my favorite parts of this character, is anytime you get... Oh, still skin ally. Anytime you get to go up to a, not an exile, a mercenary.
You'll make my finest piece.
Oh. He actually managed to get away. 95% of the time when you start a mercenary fight, you'll have all of your traps down, the fight starts, they all go off, and the mercenary's dead instantly. And you just move on with your day. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it so much. The set and forget. You get to do set and forget. Although, actually, I think that is one of the... I think that's actually one of the mods on the medium cluster I'm running on this character, too. Little set and forget. Ow. I will say, my mercenary that I have right now, I'm not giga satisfied with. I would like her to be a different one, but I'm okay enough with her as is. I really want one of the, I think it's the cold mercenaries. You get one of the, actually, even though that guy that I fought on this map, I'll come back to that of this. The mercenary and everything I fought on this map, those guys can roll some decent things too. And I wouldn't mind getting one of him, but I haven't seen one that which I guess the one I would really want is just Grace with any number of other decent. It's a Soul Eater one. It is. It's a Soul Eater. that's actually brutal. Mirror images and Soul Eaters, so it actually eats the souls of its mirror image. I mean, it can't really do anything right now, but it is really tanky because of that. That's really funny. Yeah, it's just infinite soul eating on its things that it creates too. Gotta love soul eaters that can summon their own minions. But yeah, mercenary wise, I'm not entirely satisfied on that front. We get to do some cool things with mercenaries, but I really just want one with grace that has some other good things. And I'll kind of go over all that when I'm actually going over the character themselves. I forgot how tall the tower is, but this should be the arena. Don't want to just run in and get popped. Right, come back for all that stuff. Don't care enough. I'm trying to move. I'm doing things, people. Out of the way. Will you up the stakes right away? No, she won't. It has to wait until the fight actually starts. Now she will. Oh, the bear. Who else is here? Oh, that guy. I'm not in heist right now. Go away. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't throw my traps in there. If I could, they would just explode as soon as I... There we go. Yeah, like you see, map boss wise, like character power wise, we're in a pretty good spot. I should be able to line up a decent chunk of damage on Veritania as well before she leaves, or before she does anything. Oh. And there she goes. Yeah, so there we go. Like I said, character overall really solid. Just anytime you have the opening to just be able to set up damage on any kind of boss target or anything, you're just in such a good spot. You just absolutely get to explode on them, and it's really good. So with that, a little bit of a longer map than I initially intended to run there, but regardless, there we go. I'll go back in that map in a little bit. So as you see, the level 91, 85. So we'll go over the tree right now. So Scion is interesting. And let me also say, do you have to do this as a Scion? No, there's actually a lot of different ways that you can make this build happen. You could do this, I would say the best alternative version that you could probably run would be Energy Blade Trickster. Energy Blade Trickster would also be a very good substitute for this character if you didn't feel like running Scion or anything. Also, Deadeye could very easily do this build and also still be a very solid choice overall. So I would say Deadeye or Trickster are probably the other two best options. I just felt like running a Scion, so here I am running a Scion. Something to keep in mind with this build as well is that while you are building it like a trap, you also have to build it like an attack at the same time. So you're scaling attack damage, and you need to make sure that your accuracy is capped. You have to have accuracy. So with that, we'll kind of go into what my picks were. So for the overall starting option here, we went Deadeye, of course. Just this gives us an extra projectile, and then also start from the Ranger start point over here, as you can see. But we want the extra projectile from that. And then I went over here for Juggernaut, just because the gaining endurance charges, the accuracy still can't be chilled or stunned, all just really good quality of life stuff that we get. So went with Juggernaut mostly for the comfort of it. You could very reasonably, if you wanted to, you could fill crit with this build pretty easily if you took Assassin instead. You could probably go Elementalist if you wanted to as well. That also just gives you more damage. And then I also grabbed the Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Inquisitor, which Inquisitor penetrates Elite Res and then gives us some Consecrated Grounds, all that good stuff. Nearby enemies take more elemental damage. All good things for us. And Inquisitor itself for Scion is giga cheap. This was, I think it was 20C for both sides. So very, very cheap option. Very, very easy to just grab. Early on leveling, all that I did is I just started this side of the tree and then worked my way over towards the Ranger side anyway. And then when I got to the point where I could start the Ranger tree, just put some points there and then remove all of the points over on the side. And then still just went over here for Constitution because that's just, we want life. Life is just so good. So over there, that's basically it. I will eventually take this jewel slot. There's probably a good jewel that I could put here. I'm not really thinking of what it is, but I'm sure there's a good jewel slot that I could put there. And so, yeah, with that though, we move over here. And the only other thing that I was really doing is early on making my way up towards the trap nodes here. Trap nodes here. I actually didn't go over and get expeditious. Holy, I can't speak. Expeditious munitions until a good bit later. So I think I got this node, and then I went through here and took Sabo and Assassination fairly early. Got the life nodes on the way, and then some of the crit. And I actually, more importantly, moved my way all the way down for point blank first, because we get to load up projectiles. We just get to do nothing but load up on projectiles, and as soon as those go off, well, then the projectile really hasn't gone anywhere, so we get to really load up on damage for point blank right there, which is great. Again, like I said, if you went Deadeye, you could take Far Shot as well, so that by the time they go out and then come back, they will have traveled a good ways, and then can actually still be dealing a lot of damage on the way back as well. You can also take a Long Shot here for more damage on that, so that's also a decent node to be taking. But otherwise, of course, lethality. I got more projectile speed here too. They do kind of move a little bit slow if you don't have some form of projectile speed. We're using a sword, so Fatal Blade, of course, and the Sword Mastery. Sword Mastery is mostly, we want the crit node here, mostly so that we can get Secrets of Suffering going off more frequently. Just an extra frenzy charge, all that kind of good stuff. Very typical stuff. Towards the end here of this character, like me getting into the low 90s, but then working my way into mid 90s, I'm actually going to try to be getting spell suppression. So I'm going to take Inveterate here. I'm going to take the Evasion Mastery here for 15 chance to suppress if everything has evasion rating on it. And then I will also probably be taking the Mastery on Spell Suppression for chance to suppress is lucky. And then I will potentially take the last two nodes being Entrench over here, take the Spell Suppression and Entrench. And I believe that puts us at around, like, with being lucky on that and everything, I think it puts us close to like 90-ish% spell suppression. So if you were able to then roll another 10% on your, closed boots, whatever else, you're able to get some spell suppression going on there, then you can be capped fairly easily. But or you could even go over here to take Quick Step if you wanted to put some points further over here, and then you'd be capped fairly easily as well. But I just wanted to move around elsewhere. Cluster Jewel wise, we have a large cluster here. Brutal Infamy, Heavy Hitter, Sure-Footed Striker. So we don't really care about attack speed in the slightest, so we kind of just want to try to get as much damage ramping as possible. So that's why we just have these kind of attack damage-based nodes here. And then the two mediums we're using, I'm using an Eye to Eye here for projectile speed and proj damage. Or, sorry, that's streamlined. Eye to Eye here is proj damage and increased damage with hits against nearby enemies, which is still good. Streamlined, though, just for the more proj speed for the most part. And then down here with the medium, we have Set and Forget and Guerrilla Tactics so that we get some more trap throwing speed, damage, move speed. Very good things to have. You could, I think when I looked at the damage of both of these do roughly the exact same amount of damage. So it's just kind of, it's probably just a pick and choose whatever you want between these two. I kind of like having one of each, but if you want to do just, 2 trap and mines or 2 projectiles, I think that route is also completely fine. And then up here, like I said, we have Secrets of Suffering as well. So I think we can roll into gear, and I'll kind of talk about Secrets of Suffering as well. Also, trap mastery wise, we have increased trap trigger area of effect and additional traps placed at a time. If you're wondering why we don't take Master Sapper here, it's mostly just because there's not a lot of times where you're going to be able to have more than 22 traps. You're not really going to have a time where you're going to have more than 22 traps out at a time before you've run out of time, outside of like certain boss cases. And I think this node isn't as strong as it really as we really need for the point value to go over here, or even the Anoint. I don't think it's worth it, so we're not taking that node there. And yeah, so with that, we'll roll into items, and we'll talk about gems as well. So item wise, our main damage here, our bread and butter, Rakiata's Dance. It's very cheap as well. I think I bought this for 100-ish C, 100-ish, maybe 120. So very cheap this league also. The attack speed is the one thing that we really don't care about. I mean, it lets us leap slam around a little bit faster, I guess. But that's kind of it. So that's really the only thing. But the main benefit here is the treat enemy monster resistance values as inverted. So like I said with Secrets of Suffering, Scorch, the way that Scorch works is it actually lowers their resistances by up to 30% based on the fire damage of the hit. We have fire damage. We don't have a ton of fire damage though. So they don't usually get scorched that hard. and they don't usually get scorched that hard. So usually it's not that big of a deal. It does suck a little bit, but for the sake of like the taming and yoke of suffering, it's still way more damage for us at the end of the day to still be running Secrets of Suffering and stacking as many elemental effects onto our targets as we possibly can. Rakayada's Dance here is what we're using as our main damager. We just want to try to get as much elemental damage going as possible so that we can then be inverting that. And I'll talk about the Mercenary later as far as that goes too. We are using a Blizzard Crown because actually the best part about this, your hits treat cold resistance as it's 10% higher, which works with Rakayada's Dance because then it will treat the hit as 10% higher and then invert it. So that is just free real estate for us. I just recently put a Warlord Orb on this thing. It's still not fantastic, but it's okay enough for me to call it serviceable. So the big thing with Warlord influence on hats is it can get you global crit strike multi. It can also hit on the prefix increased elemental damage. So if you got one that has both crit multi and elemental damage, fantastic. But otherwise, for the most part, it's just Blizzard Crown that you want. Blizzard Crown is the important thing here. So just get life, get resistances if you need them, and then just some evasion and just get some more defensive value on top of that. Like I said, we're using Yoke of Suffering here. This is probably one of the more expensive items on this build. It still wasn't even that expensive because this is just an 8% increased damage. So, I would say basically just find one that fits your budget. There are definitely more budget options. The worse that you get the roll on it, and obviously the cheaper it's going to be. It's not that expensive. The taming also fairly cheap. If you could as well, it's up to you on if you wanted to do this, but you could dual wield tamings. I'm still kind of debating on if I want to dual wield tamings. I kind of like having the minus cost, and I like the life and the resistances and all that stuff, but the resists actually don't matter. I would get enough resist from the taming anyway to replace this ring. So I would say if you want to lean more damage, definitely just use 2 tamings. Since I'm still kind of working on mana overall, I was like, you know what, I'm going to just keep using a rare ring for the time being. But double taming here would be even more damage, would be actually a very big benefit for us on that, just because, again, we're applying a bunch of ailments to the enemy, so having more tamings is good. Chess piece-wise, the only thing here that is anything to really mention is the crit strike multi for attack damage there. That is kind of the only thing that we're really looking for on the Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds front. That's really kind of it. I believe that's the Searing Exarch side. Yeah. So Searing Exarch side, get crit multi for attack damage, more damage. Boot-wise, 4% increased action speed is the big deal here. We want the action speed from the also Searing Exarch side. Yep. We just want the increased action speed that lets us, both move faster and also, we do everything faster then. And we also get Tailwind, so we get even more action speed there, so we can actually be throwing out traps decently quickly. Belt-wise, nothing crazy here, we can just try to get something. Actually, the Veritania influence on this doesn't even matter. I just had one, so I was like, sure, I'll use it. But the nice thing here is being able to have the increased trap throwing speed craft on that. So I would say definitely try to get yourself something with increased trap throwing, or at least get yourself to a point where you can craft increased trap throwing speed on your belt. That's always good. And then make sure you just have enough attributes for it. Attributes to wield the rest of your gear, which is actually why I had to put attribute quality on this. Glove-wise, though, this is where things are kind of fun, is we can actually get a Shaper glove. If you get a Shaper influence glove, you can see there, socketed gems are supported by level 18 advanced traps, and that gives us increased trap throwing speed globally. So, very nice little touch to have here. Inside of the Shaper gloves that we have going on. So, obviously, if you can get level 20, fabulous. So, go ahead and just, grab yourself a pair of Shaper gloves. These are actually really, really cheap to buy as well. And then it's kind of a pain in the ass to roll for advanced traps. I don't think, the only tag that it has is gem. So, kind of becomes a little bit painful. You kind of just try to roll until you hit the advanced traps with trap throwing speed and something else decent. So, these gloves were good enough for me. I'm not going to roll these yet. That's all the gear that we were really running. Like I said, I have an Enduring Flask, Quicksilver, Diamond. The Diamond, keep in mind, when you hit a rare unique enemy, if not already in effect, that doesn't work for this build because we technically aren't hitting outside of if we leap slam onto something. So don't really bother with that modifier, that was just already on the flask when from a previous character. So don't worry about that. And then just a granite flask, just because more defense is more gooder. We'll go over gems and then I'll go over mercenary. So obviously we have Spectral Throw of Trarthus here. Increased critical damage. I forgot I need to quality that some more. And then we have charged traps here. Elemental damage with attacks, trap and mine damage, and swift assembly. All fairly generic stuff. You could reasonably, if you wanted to. Ooh, excuse me. You could very reasonably, if you wanted to, get rid of swift assembly and put on multiple traps if you want, just for throwing out more traps at once. Up to you on what you want to do in that front. It just kind of depends on if you don't feel like you're littering the ground with traps enough. If you are, then you can just stick with swift assembly. If you don't feel like you are, get multiple traps. Just keep eating them out. So that's kind of your options there. In the hat here we have Skitterbots, Assassin's Mark, Determination, and Precision. I should corrupt this Determination. You could very much so get an Enlightened support, and then just try to stick these in and get something else, like maybe a Vitality or something else in your Link setup. That's actually probably the direction I'm going to try to go to with this chest piece, is get it to a point where I can throw in an Enlighten, and then maybe slot in one more aura, like a Vitality or something along those lines. But for the time being, that's what we're rocking in the hat here. Leap Slam, faster attacks, Bear Trap, and Frostblink. Bear Trap just makes them take more. It locks them in place, slows them down. Usually is all that happens. Usually just slows them down, and then makes them take increased damage from trap or mine hits. Very, very, very solid option. Leap Slam just for movement, and Frostblink also for our movement. And then Murderous Eye Jewel here, just get something with damage and sword attack hit. There you go. Great. Over here, though, in the Wyvern Scale Gauntlets, we're actually using Blade Trap of Great Swords. So that's what this guy is. Blade Trap of Great Swords here. Look how big it is. Once it goes off. Yeah. So this is the thing that lets you actually use Blade Trap with a two-handed weapon. But it has cooldown time. It has 3 uses. So you just kind of want to... That's why I have this also in the gloves here with Advanced Traps, because Advanced Traps also increases cooldown recovery speed of cooldown traps. So that's what we're doing there. And then we're just doing, another quick generic setup. Inspiration, LE damage, and trap and mine damage for our Blade Trap of Greatsword. So it's just kind of another good source of damage. So when we're getting ready to set up for a target, we're just throwing down all of our Spectral Throws. We're throwing down a Bear Trap, and we're throwing down a Blade Trap of Greatswords. Make everything go off at once. Lots of damage right there. And that's our whole gem setup. So with our person over here, like I said, I'm not super satisfied with her. She's fine, but I'm not super duper satisfied with her. But kind of the big deal is having precision is decent. I think it's a higher level than player. Like, I think it's higher level than 20. I'm not sure. Wrath is also just fine. I mean, that's just more damage for us. She does cast Assassin's Mark for us, so I have Assassin's Mark in my hat, but I'm actually not pressing it. I'm just letting her do it right now. It's kind of a nice quality of life. Eventually, later on, if I replace her, then I can absolutely just be like, okay, I'll start tagging things with Assassin's Mark. Not that big of a deal. And then she's just using Lightning Arrow. Ideally, like I said, I would like to get rid of this setup here, this character, and probably get somebody with Grace. Somebody that uses Grace and then some other good benefit for us. I know there's someone that increases action speed, so maybe get the action speed person on top of that. But nothing crazy outside on the gear, honestly. This is all fairly generic. Oscarms are interesting at the very least. So she actually casts, she actually triggers her own, she actually triggers a Assassin's Mark when she's attacking things anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, otherwise she's just got very generic stuff on, nothing crazy. Just some, decent gear overall, nothing crazy. And then I have a Shaper Seed in her amulet slot just to help us regen life and mana, which I just think is a really good thing. Eye of Malice, though. This is also another reason why I'm I kind of want a melee person, because then the melee person will get in there and it will make nearby enemies have 50 increased fire and cold resistances. As she is right now, she kind of stands in the back, so she doesn't always really help on that front, but she does still trigger this, so we can give enemies even more resistances with Eye of Malice, and then we can flip it again with Rakiatas, which will then give us even more damage. So very fun kind of setup that we get to have. But like I said, not the greatest mercenary base. I'll fix that in the future, but for now, she's decent enough. And I think that's kind of our whole setup. That's our whole shebang with this character. So like I said, future-wise, basically just getting some more. I'm just kind of trying to work towards getting some actual spell suppression, just to really kind of make this character get even thicker. Maybe eventually take this jewel slot and just stick something in there. Who knows? And yeah, that's kind of my main progress. If you wanted to lean into damage, you said I don't care about spell suppression stuff. What you could do instead is absolutely just take Infused here, take Frenetic there, just try to get more charges. Something else that I've been heavily debating with myself on is taking Multi-Shot here. It's a really good node, obviously, you know, that does let us shoot another projectile out of our trap. But the thing is that it's 4 points, and these 3 points don't technically do anything for us. The only thing that it would do, again, is let us leap slam a little bit faster. But, like, who cares? So that's up to you if you want to take that. I decided not to, even though multi-shot is really good. I just kind of went, you know what? The one projectile that we get from Deadeye is good enough. I think we fire 6 total now. This should fire 5 by base. Yep, so we fire 6 projectiles. So you could have a 7th one if you wanted to take that. I just didn't really care enough to, so I did not. Anyway, that's all my app, and that's all I got. Like I said, POB will be in the description below. This character's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna continue to play, continue to push, and have a good time with this character. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. So I'm saying in the outro, and probably nobody will see this. Regardless, if you want to know why my health bar is purple, it is because Night Lotus helmet. Night Lotus helmet. I'll actually include that in the description below as well as to why my health bar is purple. My health bar and my flask are purple because of this. This was a thing from I believe Affliction Challenge League a while ago. So that is why that is. Anyway, YouTube, I hope you've been having a great time with Mercenaries League. I've been having a ton of fun with it, and I'm gonna continue to do so. I'll probably be making a new build once I'm through with this character, and I'll probably post another guide whenever that comes out. So anyway, hope you're having a good time. Like I said, take it easy, stay sane, Exiles.